California! We are at 9 pips for
What
California.
is Brayrand doing in Missouri?
I don't understand putting that much money into Louisiana.
North Carolina going into the
This
Republican
is one of the
Party.
most stunning results in 270 live history.
Good morning, good evening, wherever you are, whenever you're watching, and thanks for tuning in to 270 Live. It's been a long road to get here, but after dozens of qualifying tournaments across the nation, our field is finally set for the most prestigious event in competitive 270 play. It'll be 9 competitors vying for the top spot in the 3rd annual 270 Live tournament, sponsored by Progressive Auto Insurance. A quick look at our bracket here. You'll see some old faces, you'll see some new faces, but all 9 of these competitors are fighting to win it all. New to this year's edition, this will be a double elimination tournament. So just because you lose one match does not automatically rule you out. You'll just have to fight through the loser's bracket to make it to Dallas. And if you're interested in betting on this tournament, a quick look at our lines brought to you by DraftKings. DraftKings, the official betting partner of 270 Live. That being said, we're here in blistering cold Kansas City, Missouri for the first matchup of this tournament. It's number 3 seed Steven against number 6 seed Brayrand. As always, I'm Keegan Fong in the booth alongside Ryan Martinez. And Ryan, what do we have in store for us today?
Yeah, look, I always have goosebumps for the first match of the tournament, but this is going to be an unbelievable matchup, okay? You got Steven, 3 seed, kind of a newer comer to the tournament scene in 270. I don't think he was in the last tournament. And then you got Brayrand, Alexander Lucy, who, let's just say he's been a little bit disappointing lately, but I'm feeling good about maybe him making a surprise run in the tourney.
We know what's the baggage behind Brayrand here. All the failures for the past, quite frankly, 4 years of playing 270 Live with the group. He has lost repeatedly, time after time again, in embarrassing fashion. We're all, I think, hoping for a recovery in this tournament, especially for how long it's been since a solid matchup. But what is Brayrand's path to victory here against a really competitive and really strong Steven player?
I think Brayrand just needs to stick to the fundamentals. He's got to get a state group or 2 and build off of it. He's always started off in funky, trying to get funky state groups. Like he's like, I'm going to get manufacturing first with like no Texas, no North Carolina. He just tries to experiment when he just needs to kind of go back to the bread and butter, maybe the old South, maybe somewhere else. We'll have to see where he goes today. It's going to be interesting. We already see Steven has selected Benjamin Netanyahu, which probably means he's going to be going for a more conservative play style here. It's going to be interesting. Is Brayrand going to pick a Democrat and try to do something different, or is he going to go Brian Kemp? And are we going to see a battle in the state of Georgia?
I mean, a little concerning. It seems like Brayrand's stuck in the locker room in the tunnel right now, where we don't see him out here on the field yet, which is maybe a little concerning with his preparation for the matchup. What kind of mindset does he need to be in as we see him join as an RGB? What kind of mindset do both of these contestants need to be in order to be successful here today?
Well, I think Steven just needs to kind of act like it's a regular game, just kind of business as usual. That will probably cruise him to victory. I think if I'm Brayrand, I need to play with a little bit of desperation. I mean, if he loses this one and then loses to a newcomer in the losers bracket, there's a lot of questions whether he's going to lose his seat or not in the 270 Live. 8 or 9 people who usually make the tourney.
All right,
We see turn 1 already.
We see the turn 1 already. An interesting start from Netanyahu. We've got a what can only be assumed an oil start with a Texas, Louisiana, Colorado. We don't see that a lot often from especially the Republican candidate, but it is a viable strategy for someone in the conservative camp. Meanwhile, a bang bang turn 2 here, more pips, like I said, in the oil states. Meanwhile, Brayrand on the Democratic side is dumping money into women's movement and labor environment. Obviously, national groups being a clear lane for him. How do you feel about these openings, Ryan?
I like the opening for Brayrand. Look, if you struggle sometimes with the arithmetic with the state groups and you're flailing around a little bit, not doing it efficiently, go into national groups. Get some money to play with. So, if you get a national group, you could afford some mistakes down the road because you're going to get those kind of general money additions every turn. I like that. Now on the counter side here with Benjamin Netanyahu, can we see his bonuses real quick?
Sponsors are
Take a look at
30 oil and
Netanyahu.
gas, so it makes sense for him to
That's
go
why
through
he's
that
going in.
lane.
Now, I
Um,
prefer him playing conservative. This is my play style. I like starting in the Old South, but with the plus 30%, I feel like this is the smartest move. And here comes Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm guessing is about to go in a more of a northeastern town and gown direction right now.
So electoral count into turn 3, 65 for Netanyahu, 17 for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. It's going to be interesting to see where Netanyahu goes out of this oil and gas lane. A lot of the board still wide open as we're going to go into our ballots return, our spins return forward. California on the Democratic side. That's an interesting move, don't you think, Ryan?
You know, I really was expecting him to go more of a New York strategy here because usually New York, Utah, Massachusetts gets you town and gown. And Pennsylvania, too. This is in Virginia. I mean, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, I'm guessing high tech is what's going on right now.
Certainly an unconventional lane for high tech, but we know Brayrand loves to work in the unconventional lane. The problem is unconventional has not worked for him for years, so we'll have to wait and see if this works.
But if this was turn 1 and he was doing this, I'd be very concerned. But he got the national groups, so now he can maybe take a more unorthodox approach because he's going to get that money every turn.
Exiting turn 5, we're in a close race here. 117 for Bibi, 110 for Roof. We've got 2 clear lanes opening up. Bibi going with the manufacturing after the oil and gas. Right now, state group wise, he's got the advantage. RBG's got the 2 national groups. So a little bit of a money advantage for Republicans right now. How can Brayrand dig himself out of this hole that he's currently in?
I mean, he's probably getting some money from the national groups though, so I feel like it's still pretty even so far. The national groups. I'm wondering, Keegan, do you know? Will this give him high tech with what he has right now?
It should give him high tech as he locks out California, some extra pips into some other states, including a pip into New York.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg going big.
A little bit of a battle going on in the traditional swing state of Pennsylvania. 171 to 142. Big pickups here, though. Democrats have now picked up the high-tech state groups, so that will be a huge boon in some of these states, including a currently red Washington. That's certainly interesting to see. Meanwhile, Netanyahu is sweeping most of the Midwest, a couple important key states in the South, including Louisiana and North Carolina, 3-pipping in Illinois, and we're going to get some conflict, I'm sure, soon in a state like Michigan. New York getting shored up by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Pennsylvania, whoa, look at that conflict in Pennsylvania. That is 5 pips in the Keystone State, conflicting going back down to Brayrand, taking the lead there. Some more oil and gas states from Bibi, and that was a very competitive and very actionable turn 7, 183, 142. Ryan, what do you make of this?
I mean, are these guys even looking at the map? I mean, this has been a blazing pace to start. I mean, if you look at, this has worked out pretty well for Brayrand. I think Steven was trying to, have a little bit too much at once. He was trying to expand the map everywhere else and tried to take Pennsylvania with a rather weak insertion to the state. But Brayrand blocked it. He got New York, which does he have 3 in New York right now?
He does have 3 in New York. My one concern with Brayrand here, it depends on where he goes now, but he's not in as many states as Bibi. We see a Republican move in Florida, a Democratic move in Iowa and Maryland, so shoring up some of that town and gown and high tech here. Michigan,
holy
Ruth Bader Ginsburg going over the top, plus 15. A conflict in Minnesota, nothing there. No move on the electoral college vote there. Again, more jostling. Washington's going to tie out. Bibi's got the lead right now, but that could change. 198, 195. We've got a close one coming right now as we go into turn 9. Look at that dark blue Michigan right there.
Look, you know how the fans are in Kansas City. They're used to seeing greatness. They see Pat Mahomes every Sunday. I think initially they were probably cheering for Netanyahu and Steven. They want to back a winner, but I'm sensing a change in the crowd might be turned towards Brayrand right now.
Bibi Pippin to Arizona, Bibi Pippin, Iowa. He's going back on the offense here. Meanwhile, RBG just shoring up some of that town and gown. A max out in Michigan, and Michigan with its 15 electoral votes is going to be our first max out. 3 in Minnesota is going to bring her over to those 10 electoral votes. Bibi in New Jersey. RBG in a couple of those Northeast states, and a complete overpowering Washington, picking up 12 in the Democratic column. So that is going to be RBG's first lead of the game, 206-217.
This is a problem, though. This is a problem for Brayrand a little bit here, because he's in that territory where he might be starting to play to electoral votes, but he can't do that yet. He needs state groups, and I don't know. I don't know where he could go from here. It doesn't seem like he has a coherent strategy. I guess he does have three. The combination of New York and Cali and a couple of these other states, he's got export. That's probably why he protected Washington. Doesn't Washington have export and high tech, I think?
It does. It has both of them. I do want to note, though, that Bibi right now has a 200,000 money advantage over the Democratic contender here. So,
is that
even though,
true?
yes, 656
I see.
for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 884 for Bibi Netanyahu.
Well, did he save money from last turn?
Wait, 2 pip into California. Whoa, Republicans on the move in California. That is huge. Meanwhile, fight back for RBG, 2 pips in the Florida. We are getting really competitive in some really expensive states here. Ruth Bader Ginsburg over the top in North Dakota. That's 3. Ohio getting competitive. 2 pips there. 2 pips for the Democrat in Oregon. And Bibi Netanyahu with the overpower in Pennsylvania. That's a huge swing. That's a swing of 16 additional to Bibi, at least for this term. That is a dark red Pennsylvania. What do you make of this?
Sometimes at this point in a 1v1 game, people have kind of secured the big states and you're battling over Missouri, Kansas, South Carolina, or something. I mean, there are some huge battles. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Florida, California. This is anybody's game right now. I guess if I'd rather be somebody, I'm still going to go with Bibi. Just, Brayrand's he's failed us a few too many times here, but this is more competitive than I expected.
Now, I've got to highlight, this is something we don't see very often, is that 3 Dem pips in California. That's going to go up to 5, 3 Republican pips now in California. So California getting a huge investment. That's not something we see, especially this late in the game after turn 11. Meanwhile, more Republican support in Ohio. Ruth Bader Ginsburg is going to take Oregon. That's 8. And then a max out for Netanyahu in Pennsylvania, securing the 19 votes.
Did Brayrand do the math correctly? Because I don't know if he had to do that many pips into California. I don't think Bibi had enough to even get in there if you do the math.
Are you saying that yet again Brayrand's incompetence is at play here?
I'm not going to talk about incompetence right now. He's playing a good game. He's fighting. But if we look back, he might have been able to hold Cali and take Florida. I don't know all the math, but that was a possible maneuver there.
So, into turn 12 here, 225, 235. It's been a relatively slow game. We've gotten pretty deep into the game so far, and there's still a lot of wide open states. Meanwhile, in the state groups, Old South, surprisingly, out of all of them, is still unpicked up. Same with African American. Those are 2 very
big change here, though. Export taken by Netanyahu, I think, with Pennsylvania and Ohio. That was a big change, and again, was Alex playing for electoral votes and not for state groups? So that's the real question, because it does look like Netanyahu's really been strategically adding state groups to his column. But the money advantage is not that big, because, again, Alex was able to keep the electoral votes close enough early and still get national groups. So this is competitive.
Ruth pip into Alabama. Defense in Arizona, she's going to hold, but that's going up quite a bit. D.C., Delaware, shoring those up. Over the top in Florida by 1. That's going to be a swing of 60 electoral votes. That is huge this late in the game. Meanwhile, Netanyahu over the top with oil money in North Dakota, shoring that up, 214, 261, shoring up Ohio, a max out in Ohio. He must have thought of a serious risk there. Tennessee, 2 pips, a pip into Virginia, and that means going into turn 13. Wow, look at that.
3 swing states, export, agriculture. This is a huge money shift. It was a complete 3 groups lost for Netanyahu, 3 groups gained by Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
And I want to point out, Ruth Bader Ginsburg at $1.05 million. She's got a comprehensive money advantage over the Republican right now. This is huge. Is Brayrand on the verge of a massive upset? 261, 225 in turn 13 with the seconds ticking down. Netanyahu's he's in a lot of RBG states. There's still a lot of white space left on the board. Anything can happen here, but you've got to imagine RBG's in the driver's seat here.
Yeah, look, you got to look at these bigger states, and it's a math battle. Like, you got to be able to do your math. I think Brayrand probably made a mistake earlier putting too much into California, and Netanyahu may have not done the math to see how much he needed to put in Florida. Crucial mistakes in the biggest areas that have, Florida and California, have at least 3 or 4 groups each.
A max out in Arizona, so that is going to for sure go into the Democratic column. They're still battling over Florida. More money in Florida. A dim pip into Georgia. A dim pip into Illinois. Indiana going into the Republican column. Kentucky. So Bibi's picking up some of those white space spaces. On the offense is Ruth in Louisiana. On the offense in North Carolina. She's going after him here. Nevada, she's going to take the lead in. That's a swing of 12 electoral votes. A max out in Oregon, shoring up those 8. And in Virginia, I know Bibi pipped in last turn. There's going to be a max out from Ruth, so those 13 are going to stay in her column. Another 2 pip in Wisconsin. And right now, into turn 14, 238, 273. Ruth over that 270 threshold. But it's turn 14. We've still got more turns to come with as much white space as we got, Ryan.
I'm starting to lose my breath a little bit. I mean, this is a thriller right now. I mean, look, you got to. Part of the strategy is to put a pip in for a future attack, but
I got to interrupt you. That was a quick turn. California, Florida here. Florida maxed out. That's not something you see very often. Over the top in Louisiana, that's a max out. That's 16 votes swinging. Shoring up Minnesota, Mississippi, RBG. Controlling the South here. A North Carolina overpower, a Nevada, and a Wisconsin takeover. This margin is only growing here. 204, 307. She's going to pick up agriculture as well. We're looking at potentially one of the biggest upsets in 270 Live history. On the verge here. Can Brayrand hold on to it, though?
I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, this is a very strong position. Ruth Bader Ginsburg with a geographic diversity across the entire country here. The real question is now you got to start thinking about how many states have been secured fully, how many states are still have no pips in them. You got to start thinking about the end game here. And if you're, Keegan, if you're Netanyahu right now, I mean, what's your strategy at this point?
You just gotta go hunting for votes, no matter what kind of state it is. You just gotta pick up votes here because you're in the hole. I mean, this is shocking. RBG's gonna pick up 6 more out of Arkansas. Oh, and that's it. Oh my God! RBG's gonna take Georgia. But the big one on this turn, California, ruby red, like the days of Nixon and Reagan here. Illinois, though, is going to swing. I mean, these are huge pickups. And North Carolina going into the Republican column. That's 15. Oh my God, this is huge moves in this turn 15. South Dakota switching. Wisconsin's going to be short up by RBG. And Wyoming next on the ballot. RBG's going to take it. I mean, this is insane. 233, 301.
I really got to start questioning. I mean, if you're Brayrand, you're finishing your turn after like 20 seconds and you let California get taken. I mean, you got to do the math. How many times I got to say that is this is an offensive battle. No one's playing defense. This is like Josh Allen and Burrow dropping 50 each.
I mean,
some shootout in the middle of September.
Some super competitive states still on the board here. Georgia's competitive. Illinois is competitive. There's more than enough competitive states here to completely swing this election here. I mean, I thought Bibi was gonna just take over with that California flip, but credit to Brayrand, where credit's due. He was able to shore up the loss of California with some big takes in Illinois and Georgia.
People do have to worry, though. Even though we're so far into this game, even though so many state groups have been taken, you got to worry about your base. You got to worry about your most important states that make up the most of your state groups. I think Brayrand had it in the bag until he lost California. Now, I still think he's the favorite, but things are up in the air a little bit. And you look at the state groups, it's a lot more even now. I think Brayrand was about to run away with the money advantage.
Arkansas 3 for the Democrat.
Oh
Whoa,
my goodness.
California! We are at 9 pips for California. He's going to lock out Georgia as well. RBG in control here. Illinois is going to flip, though. That's 19. So it's going to bring us up a little bit closer. Minnesota maxed out by the Dem. That town gal money becoming very useful. 4 pip in Missouri. I don't understand that one.
What is Brayrand doing in Missouri?
So, after turn 16, another switch around on the state groups. We were looking at 198, 336 for Brayrand. Still no ballot, Ryan. These players have been playing for a long time. This is a grueling matchup. You got to think fatigue's starting to come in, because that's the only reason I could think you would put 4 pips in Missouri at this point.
I'm sorry. I am just... When you have young kids in 270 boot camps across the country in little academies, the first rule you teach them, you don't put 4 in. If you know is it. I mean,
4 in, may I argue, one of the worst states in the game. Missouri is a money pit, only seconded by maybe South Carolina or New Jersey. I mean, Missouri is bottom of the barrel, and to put 4 pips in, I don't get that. Regardless,
is he fighting for a popular vote victory right now? Like, what's happening?
Regardless, RBG in the lead here, 336, 198 for BB. We've got some more max outs here. I mean, this board is slowly getting closed off. No ballot just yet, but
why is Ruth Bader Ginsburg letting this continue? What's happening?
I mean, this is just a long match. She's going to take Alaska, though, two pips there. California, the max out, so she will hold on to California and its 54 electoral votes. 2 pips in a Hawaii, and that may be key. That might send us the ballot. Illinois max out for BB. Just trying to shore up these results here. Indiana, offense for the Democrat. Iowa, max out. BB will not be able to take that. She's going on the offense in Kansas, pushing him even further. Going on the offense in Kentucky. This is just shocking. A max out conflict in Nevada, meaning it will stay in the Democrat column for now. New Mexico on the offense. I mean, we're gonna skip through because ballot should be surely coming up next.
Wow.
189, 349 right now, and it will be ballot next turn. I mean, is it even mathematically possible for BB to come back here, or is Brayrand just trying to run up the score?
I don't think he's in enough states right now. I think I might have to say, Keegan, I think the fat lady's singing right now. And what does this mean for the tournament? What does this mean for the experts have just egg in their face? I have egg in my face. You have egg in your face. I mean,
I think we all have egg in our face. I mean, Vegas will be bleeding money tonight for whoever bet on this Brayrand money line. I mean, they are going to be Scrooge McDuck here swimming in money. This is absurd. And I think Brayrand is on pace for potentially one of the most dominant victories of our entire tournament. I'm not sure we'll see something, depending on how much he can line up.
It still would have been smarter for him probably to end this earlier. But do you see how many states this man has clinched? I mean, the map is deep, dark blue right now.
I mean, how many games do you see a max out Cali, Florida, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina? He's going to take Indiana. That's 11 more in the Democratic column. He's going to hold on to Kansas. I think that's going to be a max out conflict, so he will hold on to those 6 electoral votes. In Kentucky, that was a possible another pickup. BB's going to defend it, keep his pride a little bit there. Nevada, max out. That's going to be shoring up those 6 votes. Taking New Mexico, that's 5 more in the Democratic column. Taking your home state of Oklahoma, that's 7. Blue Oklahoma, wow. Never thought you'd see it. And that means this game is over. Final score, BB Netanyahu, 166. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, 372. This is a shocking upset in the first round of the tournament. And we've got our on-field reporter, Samuel Liu, live with our winner, Brayrand. Take it away, boys.
I've actually heard Keegan, our silent reporter, Sam Liu, started vomiting on the sideline, got sick, had to go to the locker room. I've actually ran down here quickly to interview the 2 combatants in this game. I think we got to start with the surprise victor in this matchup. Brayrand, are you with me, Brayrand?
Yep. I think it just comes down to just embracing who you are as like a team. There's been a lot of blatant disrespect floating around for a long time, and sometimes you just got to lean on just having experience. I'm flying through turns. I'm going blasting in like areas. I know exactly where I need to go. It may be an unconventional start, but when you clinch as many states as you do, I think the results speak for themselves.
What do you think the turning point is in this matchup? Because initially it was pretty 50-50, but I leaned towards
There was a
Netanyahu.
turning point. I think I was in control from the very beginning. There was not a second that I wasn't completely in control. Maybe the analysts or the announcers might not have been able to see that. But securing like national groups early on, okay, maybe it seems strange that you're targeting like a high tech instead of a town and gown. But parlaying high tech money, which is a bigger state group bonus, into immediately getting town and gown, and then using that to be able to try and flip states, and then when you can take away $400,000 per turn from your opponent, you just simply can't lose.
Yeah, well, I questioned a few things in that analysis, but we'll leave that for the post game show. I really have to ask. I mean, do you think this is an aberration, or are you about to go on a run in this tournament?
Hey, look, I'll make no comments about like how we're going to turn out in the future, but all I'm going to say is that our team has been putting in the work. They've been grinding. We go out there to that field every single day. We try our best. Getting as many reps as possible. I tell them fight every single rep as if it matters the most. And that's just our philosophy. It's who we are as a team. And there's been some ups and downs, but when you know who you are as a team, a comeback is inevitable.
All right, this is my last question. Arrowhead's obviously one of the most famous
Yeah,
stadiums
shout
right
out
around
the
the United
fans.
States.
What a place to play.
It's a great place to play, but you do know that in a few days down in the Rose Bowl, you'll be playing the winner of Ryan, myself versus Tyler, the 2v7 matchup. What do you think's going to happen, and are you confident beating whoever comes out of that?
That's going to be a really interesting matchup. I think we'll learn a lot by watching the tape. We'll just have to see how that game goes. I mean, obviously, Armart has been a stalwart of the game, defending champion. I can only push respect in that direction. But, Tyler Tan has a chance to shake things up. I think he's an interesting prospect, and sometimes people don't give enough respect to the little guy.
All right, thank you, Brayrand. I'm here now with Steven. What do you think happened today?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that happened is that I just wasn't aggressive enough early. I could see that my opponent was looking at the national groups, and I just kind of did my own thing. When you're playing against someone who's going against national groups early, the key is to step on the neck early so that they're not able to build out of that hole they set themselves up with. So I think it gave the opponent the ability to come back into it. And when I lost Florida, it was over from that point.
I do appreciate the more analytical answer than we got from the other contender in this matchup. I am wondering, I mean, how confident do you feel? I mean, it is tough to lose a first round game. You're gonna have to go to a loser's bracket and you're gonna have to win out. How confident do you feel going on a win streak now? Do you think let me add on to that? Do you think you learned anything from this first round defeat?
Oh, I'm always learning. But candidly, I'm surprised I was ranked as high as I was. I think that y'all overrate me completely. I am not as good at 270 as you think I am. I have not won a lot of the friendlies, so I think this is the results kind of speak for themselves. I know this is not kind of the typical answer, but I think that I can get on a win streak, especially get another game to get some more comfortable footing underneath myself. I've been working around with some strategies, and I know that the tournament is not really the place to do it, but we don't play enough 270 for me to work on it otherwise. But I just want to go out there and have a good game and hopefully get some wins.
I guess the last question. I mean, what do you think the seeding should have been? If you were in the room making the top 4 seeds, what would you have been doing?
I haven't actually taken a look at the standings. I think we have Riley and Suresh. I think Riley should have been above me, and maybe even Alex, because he won a few games over me, even 1-1 while we were doing the friendlies. So I definitely was kind of shocked to see myself that high. Obviously, want to try and live up to the expectations that are set out for me, but understand that I can, only play the game that I can play. So, at the end of
Yeah,
the
I
day,
guess, I mean,
you don't want to see that, but I think that, it is what it is, and I'm going to try out and do my best. Hopefully next time I won't have an opponent who goes out there and tries to prolong the game with the clear money advantage to, kind of ego boost and lock up as many states as he can get.
wow, I thank you for your candid remarks. Real quick, actually, a sideline reporter just ran back onto the field, Samuel Lou.
Jesus
We know
Christ.
that you got sick
No,
and
it's fine.
threw up.
We gotta
in
we
the
gotta go to
locker
film.
room.
We gotta go to commercial, man. We gotta go to commercial here.
I apologize. I just got a little
I'm
too
sorry.
excited.
Traffic was terrible, dude.
No, you missed your chance. You missed your chance. All right.
All right,
Well,
thank you.
this has been the first round matchup in Kansas City. A 3-6 seed Steven losing in shocking fashion to number 6 seed Brayrand, 166-372. We will see Brayrand next in Seattle at Lumen Field, facing off against the winner between Ryan and Tyler. We'll see Steven next down in the losers bracket in Salt Lake City. His opponent to be determined next. Thank you for watching, and as always, good night, Omaha.